Continuation of Chapter 9. Decisive Influence of Father John Courtney Murray, S.J. One of the principal driving forces behind the Declaration on Religious Liberty was Father John Courtney Murray, an American, who was one of the dominant members of the commission entrusted with its preparation. In his book, The Rhine Flows into the Tiber, Father Ralph Wiltgen devoted an entire page proving the influence of Father Murray in drafting this text on religious liberty. In the book which he should publish on religious liberty, Michael Davies could well reveal what he found out in America, documents prior to the council which condemned Father Murray because of his doctrines. In the archives of his diocese, Michael Davies found the transcripts of lengthy conversations between Murray, the Holy Office, and the theologians. His doctrines were condemned at that time. The Holy Office forbade him to defend them and to continue writing. He lightly shrugged it off, and so it was he who was chosen to draft the text of the Declaration on Religious Liberty adopted by Vatican II. It is unthinkable, for naturally he insinuated his own ideas. It is none the less interesting to know that he had been previously condemned by the Holy Office for his ideas, and had been forbidden to publish them. Then who is right now? Is it the Holy Office that condemned Father Murray by founding its decision on the traditional doctrine of the Church? Or is it Father Murray, whose ideas have been adopted by the Council? Council experts under condemnation of the Holy Office. I am accused of being against the Council, but this is inexact. I am not against the Council per se, but against the influence of liberalism that clearly infiltrated the Council. It is impossible to deny this penetration. It is obvious that people who had been condemned by the Holy Office were chosen to be experts at the Council. Father Edward Skillabeeks had been condemned, and he was an expert at the Council. Footnote: Father Yves Congar had also had difficulties with Rome because of his book Chrétiens désunis. End footnote. During a meeting of the Central Preparatory Commission with 77 cardinals and about 30 bishops and superiors of religious congregations gathered, I asked the following question. Cardinal Ottaviani just said that the experts chosen must not have been condemned by the Holy Office, yet I know 3 of them who have been. How is it that they appear on the list of experts? The cardinal did not reply at the moment, but on leaving the meeting he passed me, and took me by the arm, and said, I know it well, but it's the boss who wants them there. This was just the style of John the 23rd. For him there was never any evil. Oh, no, he is a good guy, you'll see. When he is with everyone, he will see the light. All will be well. Meanwhile, it is they who won. Let's return to the study of the encyclical CUANTA CURA. Condemnation of freedom of all religions. Introducing the syllabus in the encyclical, Pope Pius IX begins, as we have seen, by particularly condemning the fact that many want to, quote, apply to civil intercourse the impious and absurd principles of what they call naturalism, End quote. Not a few, then, were to be found in his epoch, quote, who dare to teach that the best form of society and the exigencies of civil progress absolutely require human society to be constituted and governed without any regard whatsoever to religion, as if this religion did not even exist, or at least without making any distinction between true and false religions. Contrary to the teachings of the Holy Scriptures, of the Church, and of the Holy Fathers, these persons do not hesitate to assert that the best condition of human society is that wherein no duty is recognized by the government of correcting, by enacted penalties, the violators of the Catholic religion, except when the maintenance of the public peace requires it. End quote. This article was the object of very lively discussions. Yet, this is exactly what the Vatican II Declaration on Religious Liberty says. Footnote: with the sole difference that the exigencies of, quote, the objective moral order, the limit to religious liberty recognized by Dignitatis Humanae, are stricter than, quote, the public peace of CUANTA CURA. According to Dignitatis Humanae, a religion that professes immorality should be repressed, yet immorality is not necessarily contrary to public peace. End footnote. One finds oneself faced with a problem that must one day be resolved. The Church cannot let what Pius IX explicitly taught be contradicted by a text of the Council. This is the heart of our opposition to the modern Rome. In his last letter, Cardinal Sapir wrote to me, quote, you should agree to stop criticizing the Council documents. He does not want us to point out that certain passages do not correspond at all to the doctrine of the Church. When we sent dossiers to Rome explaining our position, most notably a half-dozen pages published as a booklet by the journal Itinéraire, Archbishop Lefebvre, and the Holy Office, we received no reply. If no one answers us, it is because they are incapable of refuting our arguments. But be assured, one day Rome will admit that in the Council documents there are unacceptable statements that will have to be changed. What is very serious is that we are seeing come to pass the very continuation of the trend condemned by the popes in the last century. Pius IX, like Gregory XVI in 1832, denounces those who, quote, from this totally false notion of social government, fear not to uphold that erroneous opinion most pernicious to the Catholic Church and to the salvation of souls, which was called by our predecessor Gregory XVI, later quoted, the insanity, namely, quote, that the liberty of conscience and of worship in the peculiar or inalienable right of every man, which should be proclaimed by law. End quote. Mirari vos. End quote. Yet, that is what the Council affirms. Everyone can practice his religion. So who is right? As for us, we hold to the doctrine expressed by Gregory XVI and Pius IX, reiterated by Leo XIII, and then by St. Pius X and Pius XII. When we are told that we are going against the magisterium of the Church, we answer that, on the contrary, it is because we are attached to the magisterium of all the popes that we cannot accept the errors that are being taught today. For if we are told, the magisterium belongs to its time, Pius IX's is over, that was more than a century ago, then there is no magisterium left. If the magisterium of Pius IX is now worthless, then so is that of his predecessors, as well as his successors. Today's magisterium will be worthless in 10 years. To what should one adhere? Where is the truth?